The 49ers have a 300-pound lineman who runs up that hill to get in shape, the best shape of his life. And he talked about San Francisco's offensive line after the first OTA Thursday with news that should be music to the ears of 49ers fans.
But I think this is from a overall standpoint for sure. I think, a couple of us said we're better off at the beginning of this year than we have been, I think, since I've been here. So I think depth-wise, yeah, we have it. We have the skill guys in there as well for us. So you got guys who can run, and that's what this offensive line needs, is guys who can run and get on guys and sustain blocks.
That's Colton McKivitz, who, yes, he does run Telegraph Hill. Let's take a look at Telegraph Hill over with Coit Tower in the distance. The Filbert and the Greenwich steps have been added to the workout routine of Colton McKivitz. He used to run from downtown over here up to Telegraph Hill, moving south to north up the Kearney Street incline. Now it's the backside of Coit Tower for Colton McKivitz. Now, Colton McKivitz also had something really interesting to say about Connor Colby, the 49ers' second-year offensive lineman, who's going to be making a push to try to start at the vacated left guard spot.
I think Connor Colby's come a long way. I think you never know how your rookie season is going to go. It can be really good or really bad, and you learn a lot. You're kind of flying by the seat of your pants, and you don't really have a whole lot of technique. You're just thrown in, and it's a whirlwind. So to see him play a lot faster right now, obviously it's OTAs. We're not hitting. We'll obviously see in July, but to see him kind of come out of his rookie season and take a breath and then now come in a little more rejuvenated, understands the scheme a little more. To see him come out and play faster, it's good to see. He's a great guy. And then obviously you're going to have Rob Jones, another explosive guy coming out of Miami. So it's going to be a fun battle in July for that spot. But I think we've got some guys who can fill in that role.
The 49ers can certainly use a jump from Connor Colby, who I think was overwhelmed at times, thrust into action as a rookie in 2025. But that's what happens at the NFL level. It is not easy to succeed right away. I mean, Colton McKivitz himself in 2020 joined the 49ers as a fifth-round pick, struggled his rookie season, actually was playing a lot of guard back then, got cut ahead of 2021, had to re-sign to the practice squad, and then he ultimately became the 49ers starting right tackle. But that was after a ton of adversity. He's now entering his fourth year starting, and he's now become an ambassador of the city. The guy from played college football for West Virginia. The hunter from West Virginia who spends a lot of his time now in Idaho is the one 49er who goes into this city, drives all the way up from Santa Clara, and gets a lot of workouts done on the iconic streets of San Francisco.
I love training in the city. Right off Front Street, Vallejo, Kearney, all of it, going up to Coit Tower, running the brick staircases over there. So it's cool to train and have a little more, city behind you feeling, at least in my training.
So we figured we'd go up here at Golden Hour to give you guys a little bit of a tour. North Beach, all those neighborhoods here. Now I'm standing in front of Alcatraz. And then if you pan a little bit further to the left, before I blow off of this rooftop, you'll see the gusty, cold Golden Gate.
And then having a guy who can come in as the left guard, obviously the spots everyone watching. So if you can get a guy that can come in and fit into that role pretty well, then that's going to be even better for our group.
If they do figure it out, this offensive line can reach heights that Colton McKivitz very succinctly illustrated as he was talking on Thursday.
We're looking to be a top 10 unit like we have in the past.
A top 10 offensive line. The 49ers have been better up front than a lot of people give them credit for over the years. I think that fans don't realize how poor offensive line play is across the league, because what you have around the NFL is a dynamic where defensive lines have outpaced offensive lines in terms of athleticism, because some of the best athletes have been assigned to defensive end positions over the course of the past decade plus. So O-linemen have been struggling to keep up. 49ers have actually had a good offensive line more years than not. They've had certain fracture points in the offensive line that sometimes have derailed them, but they believe that they're deep enough this offseason. Colton McKivitz, for example, listen to this. He thinks this is the deepest offensive line the 49ers have had in his 6 years with the team.
We're better off at the beginning of this year than we have been, I think, since I've been here. So I think depth-wise, yeah, we have it. I mean, it's everything. When you can have guys who are playing together through big games like last year, the year before that. I mean, Jake and Trent and I have played, I think 3 years in a row now, going on 4. Obviously, Trent and Jake have played even longer together, and then now with Dom and I being, going into, year 3, playing next to each other. So just having that continuity and knowing what we're going to do when it comes to games or twists or just whatever comes up in a game, we're pretty adaptable, and we know how to work well with each other.
Comes down to that left guard position. If the 49ers find a way to fill that sustainably with good play, well, then this offensive line doesn't have a big glaring weakness. There's a lot of people that go out and say, oh, well, Jake Brendel's a massive weakness. He actually isn't. He's been about an average center for the 49ers, with a dip in his play coming in 2024 when he had knee tendonitis, but last year he seemed to be much healthier, and he played about average football. Now the 49ers are going to have to figure out that center position in the long term. Jake is going to be 34 years old. We talk about Carver Willis. I mean, in Prague, when we did the video, I was on Charles Bridge in Prague. We had another iconic view.
Carver was the easiest recruit I've ever had. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to get into an NFL offense. He had one more year of college football to play, and he wanted to invest every ounce of his being into trying to become an NFL player. And we reached out to him, and within one day, it was almost too good to be true. It felt like with the recruiting process. But he knew what he wanted, and I felt like he could be a left tackle for us. That's where I felt we needed the most help on our offensive line, and he showed the versatility. Now, he came in at 280 pounds, and we had to get some weight on him, and we had to get his body moving the right way. But his athleticism, his feet, and his brain gave us a lot of confidence that he was going to be able to get that done.
Different than this one in San Francisco, but I went over my interview with Jed Fish, the head coach of the University of Washington, and he told us about Carver Willis taking snaps or snapping the football at Washington, and he talked about his relationship with Chris Furster, the 49ers offensive line coach. And the takeaway there was that Carver Willis could be the 49ers center of the future. That's a tough position to prepare guys for. It's very, very cerebral in Kyle Shanahan's scheme. Shanahan and Furster are going to be very specific about it. So the 49ers are happy to have the veteran Jake Brendel now for the final season of his contract here in 2026. They restructured his deal, effectively guaranteeing him his salary here for 2026. Brendel's going to be the guy at center, and if he can play the way that he did last year, the 49ers will be fine at that very, very important position right in the middle of the front. That position center, you got to identify safety rotations, you've got to set the offensive line. It is very, very taxing. Where they have to be better is left guard. That's where they struggled big time last year. I think they're going to naturally be better at right guard. Saw Dominic Puni at the OTA practice the other day with Ricky Pearsall. He's got a customized handshake with Ricky Pearsall, which is actually really cool. I think Puni's healthy this year after dealing with a knee injury for essentially all of last season. And I think we could expect his level of play to be closer to his rookie season than it was in 2025. Then you've got McKivitz, Mr. San Francisco himself, who's been better and better every single year. I would say that he's a firmly above average right tackle at this point. And of course, you've got the future Hall of Famer, Trent Williams. How about one last little lap around here as we do talk about Big Trent? Because he's in a way, he's the final puzzle piece for what is turning out to be a magical offseason for the 49ers. You know, OTAs that are going on right now are voluntary. Well, teams rarely have a 100% attendance rate. The 49ers, I don't remember the last time they had a 100% OTA attendance rate because they've had contractual situations, and it's technically not a holdout if the guy isn't there, but you don't have perfect attendance. The 49ers have had every single player report to their OTAs this year. The final puzzle piece in that regard, and I would say the final puzzle piece for the 49ers offensive line. At age 38, if he can continue delivering extremely high-level play for the 49ers, well, that offensive line ahead of Brock Purdy could be the best that the 49ers have fielded under Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch.
My goal never was to be the highest paid. That wasn't my I mean, obviously money, you're in the NFL. Like, money's the main thing. Like, we all want to get paid. We want to have generational wealth. I want to have my grandkids have money too. But with the contract I was offered, and honestly, I don't want to leave here. Like, obviously being cut, I got some scars there, but like, to be able to be cut, be a draft pick here, gold helmet guy, whatever that means. But like, there was a reason why I was here, drafted here, why I was cut here, why I still played here, and then now I've had 3 good seasons of starting and then going into the 4th. So like, why would I, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I saw a lot of guys not get paid in free agency this year. So there's a demand, whatever, but I like it here. I want to be on that 10-year wall. So like, there's a lot more besides the money that a contract gives you that's available in this town, in this city. That's more important to me than a dollar amount. So the connections I make off the field in San Francisco and what I'm doing with my youth stuff in the city and in Idaho as well, there's no reason for me to risk or just taking a chance to go somewhere else.